Running a small business is tough. Your accounting shouldn't be. At White Olive CPA, we make the numbers make sense. No jargon, no confusion, just simple, clear advice. From taxes to bookkeeping, we've got your back, so you can focus on growing your business. White Olive CPA. Simple, clear, accounting.
And we are live, everybody. How not to bomb the podcast. I'm Michael Wills, Parisi, your host. I have Mike Marino next to me here. And we don't prepare for anything. We just kind of get right on the show. We play some music we never heard of. a little. And I called Mike. I'm like, I said, I got to have you on the show. And of course, he's here. He would never. He wants to be on the show because he wants to talk to you people.
I want to be in the same room with you. The food is better at your house.
Salud, Chantan, Hawaii.
Oh.
So thanks for doing the show, Mike. So right now we're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. People are watching it right now as we speak, and that's a good thing. And then we're going to rebroadcast it, and we'll be on Spotify probably later on tonight, and then it'll just keep on going. But I wanted to bring you on the show, Mike, because we go way back. I think to 1991.
Yeah.
I believe we met. I want to say we met at Grandpa's in Staten Island. I think I said it a few times on other podcasts, but we met at Grandpa's. And that's when I was doing the robe, and you were still new in comedy, and I was, kind of just doing my thing. And then after that, you had a great set. You always do. But even then you were doing really well. And then we met later, and we're going to get into that. But tell me about back then. I mean, were you killing? You weren't killing right away on stage. I mean, I'm going to assume you had your time.
If I can indulge, when we met at Grandpa's, I didn't even know you were on the show. I was asked to host. I was the host of the show.
Correct.
I actually met you that night, and I'm like, wow, that's the legendary Wheels Parisi.
God,
and I really didn't even know what the hell I was doing. I think you gave me some lessons that night. But I was working as an actor in New York, and I was doing TV commercials. I was on a soap opera for a little while, so I was a little cocky, thinking I could do this stand-up thing. And I remember
because you were the actor. You had the actor mode going on. So you had
right.
that, and you had success in that world.
I did, and still do to this day. But when I came down to Grandpa's, I remember you sitting in the green room or off to the side in the robe at the time, where you were wearing the black robe.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, I got to see what this is all about. And then I realized when you went on stage, because there was a feature between us. I forgot what his name was.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't remember.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. But when you went on stage, I think I learned my lesson within maybe 3 minutes. That's a headliner right there.
Well,
Look at him.
Thank you.
I just took this house down.
But where did you cut your teeth? Like, where did you do bad at? That's what I want to know. Like, where were you doing comedy? Where weren't you doing good? Like, where were you bombing before I met you? When did you start? Where did you cut your teeth?
There was a comedy club in New Jersey, which was the most famous one at the time. There was one in West Orange, New Jersey, and one in Eatontown, New Jersey, called Rascals.
I absolutely loved that club. I used to headline that club. Loved Rascals.
Rascals was a great place. And I used to go to an open mic on a Tuesday night. It was hosted by Frank Del Pizzo.
Yeah, I know Frank.
And I got in there because of Bob Gonzo, who I'm still in touch with every day to this day, 35 years later.
Sure.
But at that time, we were hanging out with Jimmy Norton.
Okay. Yeah, because that's when he started around that time, in Florentine, Jammin' Jim.
He was called Jammin' Jim. He had a really long head of hair.
I remember that, yeah.
So those guys were the guys I was coming up with for about maybe, let's say, a year. And then I moved to California.
Were they were open micers then, or were they just working?
Yeah, they were open micers.
Oh, they were open micers then, okay.
Yeah. So when I got to Los Angeles, I guess it was late 80s, early 90s, I got my ass kicking at the Comedy Store.
I know. But you were doing that other room there before you get into the Comedy Store. Wasn't it a room you were producing? The little theater, if I remember, on Melrose or 3rd, I think. Masker's Cabaret. And I think that's really where you developed, because you basically were there all the time, and you were able to develop before you hit the big stages. And I think that helped you out. I mean, because, you were developing there.
Well, it was a Tuesday night. There was hardly ever anybody there. I think it was $2 to get in.
Right.
and I found every open micer you could think of and said, come on, let's do our best. Because if we can't get in the big clubs, you need a place to rehearse somewhere. I
Sure.
don't even remember how I found that place, but we were there for a long time, Tuesday nights.
Do you remember when? Have you ever had a problem when you were bombing and just like not you weren't able to get out of it?
Yeah, probably every Tuesday night.
Every
I think,
Tuesday night
I think
at
the
Basker's
best,
Cabaret.
yeah,
That
the
would.
best training is bombing.
That's right. That's how you learn not to. But you had to decide somewhere in your act, because I always say, like, when I decided I was never going to bomb again, I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to fucking do it. I know I cannot do it. I just got to, you got to kind of know yourself, and you got to know what not to do. And I think it takes years of being on stage, learning who you are, before you decide, you know what? I'm not that person I'm trying to be. I'm just going to be who I am. And then you stop the bomb.
Well, yeah. Um, my story at the Comedy Store was when I auditioned for Mitzi, I was doing impersonations. And when I got off the stage, she said to me, why are you doing that? That's horrible. And I says, well, because I'm an actor and I know how to portray the other actors. I could do it. And she said, no, come back in like a couple of months or whatever. And then I went back and I did the same identical audition. You might have been there. I did the same audition and I got off the stage and she said, why did you do that? And I says, because I'm an actor and I know how to portray these characters. And she said, no, that's not who you are.
Right.
And I remember going, well, I'll be honest with you, lady. I don't even want to be a comedian. I can't stand California. I'm a full-blooded Italian. They never consider me a mob type. I can't get a slice of pizza. I'm always in fucking traffic and my car broke down. She goes, perfect. You're a regular.
That's who you are. She had this way. Mitzi Shore had this way of seeing right through bullshit. Like, she knew you were not. That's who you were. She knew that, and it was funny how she didn't have to do anything but have you do it. You did it yourself. You, by her saying what she said to you, you realized who you really were. In other
I
words,
really technically gave up and then I became a regular.
you became. Yeah, I was out of the business. I said, "Fuck that."
I quit.
That's funny.
But I'll tell you though, at Maskers, I always hosted the show. And that's where
Okay.
I found my turning point because if your jokes didn't work, you had the opportunity to clown around.
Right. Yeah, that
If
in
an audience
between.
member threw you a curveball and said something stupid, it became a gift.
Exactly.
And you ended up working the crowd, finding jokes you never would have found had you not have been the MC.
Right, because it can you can either go it can go either way. If you're not really good with people and being quick on your feet, it can hurt you. But you have that ability to be quick on your feet, and it helped you. But a lot of comedians don't like when other people engage in their act. To this day, there are comedians like Seinfeld don't like when you talk to him from the stage. He never did. But we, you and I do, and you do, like when the audience interacts. Gives me some time to get off script for a minute. Have some fun. We have to have fun
Yeah.
too.
I miss watching you perform. I used to sit in the back all the time watching you, laughing my ass off. And I used to even say to myself, here comes one of my favorite jokes. And here it comes, boom, and you fuck the
knew it.
place up.
Well, it's funny. I will say one thing. I haven't bombed probably since 1989, 1990. But one time I was at a show, with your show actually, at a comedy club in Florida, and you asked me, do you want to do a guest spot tonight? And I said, sure, I'd love to do a guest spot. And then I was getting ready to do the spot. And then the owner comes over to the club and he goes, why don't you just MC the show? Now, this is where I say comedy is psychological. When he said to me, why don't you MC the show? I shouldn't have agreed to that. I should have said, I just want my spot and I want to get out of here. I just want to move on and watch Mike. But I agreed to it. What it does to you psychologically, it puts you in a frame of mind. Now I'm not going up there with the headliner mentality to kill, I'm going up there. Now I got to fucking have announcements. I got to say shit about his room. I got to say how great the food is. Tip your waitress. I'm like, that's not who I am. Fucking wheels. So I didn't have a good set that night, and that stuck with me. And it bothered me for a little bit. I left there and I told my wife, that wasn't me at all. What was I doing? I wasn't being who I am. I was supposed to do a guest spot. So it is a psychological thing, because remember you and I would go into these little rooms in LA and we bump people and go on these coffee houses, and you feel good about it. It's the ego. You get that ego. You feel good. Yeah, we're Wheels, Marino. We fuck around. We're here tonight. We're doing you the favor. But that psychological moment can change your mind when you're not supposed to be doing something you really don't do. And I think that's what fucked me up that night, by the way.
Well, recently, because of what I went through, I ended up doing guest sets. And
Right.
you're right. Someone asked me one night, said, "Why don't you host the show?" And I went up on stage and I go, "I don't know how.
Yeah.
What do
It's
I
not what
do?
we
Hi,
do.
good evening, good evening, welcome, welcome."
Yeah, yeah. And then then you have to do announcements. Don't forget next week we're gonna have, midget wrestling. I'm like, I don't do any of this shit.
I'm going to have a 50-50.
Yeah, we got the 50-50 raffle. What are we, the San Gennaro Feast? Um, but I do want to get into what you just said. So, okay, so you've had an amazing career. You still have an amazing career. You're still playing everywhere. You've had specials. I think you have a special coming out, don't you? Didn't you just have a
Came out
special?
yesterday.
And how's that going? I mean, tell people, what's that called? Where can they get it?
My new special just dropped yesterday on Amazon Prime. It's
Beautiful.
called Back to School. We filmed it at my high school as a replica of where I first started stand up at the age of 15.
Right.
And here I am all these years later. I was on the stage, and it's doing really, really great so far. I'm pretty happy.
Because when you went to high school, you were a drum major. What were you? In the
Marching
band,
band, I played the
marching band.
drums.
And I saw the photo of you when you kind of like, with the drum set. Like, is that your old uniform or is that a new uniform? Making believe.
Make them believe.
Okay, I was like, how the fuck are you still
How am I
walking?
going to fit the uniform? I was 15.
Yeah. Knowing
think
you,
I
you probably
do.
still have that uniform.
I do.
I'm sure you collect every little.
Downstairs in the frame.
Yeah, you got the first fucking, the first everything. I'm sure you got everything. You're a collector. Um, so you got into the cruise world. Now, a lot of comedians don't get into the cruise world. Well, one, because a lot of them can't because of their language and they're not able to adapt. So that's one reason. A lot of them don't get in there because they feel it's not good for their career. That's another reason. But there's good money in it. So you got into that world and you started traveling everywhere. I mean, major, major stuff. Um, but you had an incident in one of the last. Was it the last cruise you took?
Yeah.
What happened
Last
with that?
cruise.
I mean, this was an amazing thing because I mean, everybody was getting calls that night in Marino, like, what's really going on? And there was an incident. Give us a little bit what happened. Like, where were you? What happened at the time? I
Well,
mean,
I don't know why it broke in the news or the social media world that I died.
it was
I,
that was. I didn't want to say, but yes, that's what it was. Yeah,
I obviously didn't die.
obviously, yeah.
But yeah, millions of people thought I died. And then, I'm really blown away by the amount of comedians that were actually calling each other. In fact, Marco Asante called me a day ago and he goes, "I was crying. I called Wheels. I called
Yeah.
Sunda." These are all our comedian buddies from Hollywood. I didn't even know, of course, because I was in a coma. But what really happened was I was on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean and I had a fallout and I had a seizure.
Where were you when
And
you had the seizure?
Roatan, Honduras.
No, but where were you? Were you on stage? Were you off stage in your room?
No, I was off stage.
Okay, so it
I
happened.
think I
off
was
stage.
doing my social media. I really don't even know exactly what happened, but I was taken off the ship and put into a hospital on Roatan, Honduras. After about 3 days and 3 nights, my fiance, Heather, found me on the phone, called the American consulate, called the Royal Caribbean, called the agent, called everybody and said, "Get him out of that hospital." Somehow, I mean, through the hand of God, I was rescued, put in a helicopter, taken to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale Hospital. I was there for a couple more days. And then my fiance decided, "We're going to bring you home to New Jersey." So she drove from New Jersey to Florida, scooped me up, drove me all the way back to New Jersey. And I
Wow, you
had
drove
brain,
back. Wow,
yeah, together. And
that's
then
amazing.
I had brain surgery, and here I am.
So that's one of the reasons. And it's interesting because that night when everybody thought, you had gone, um, you know, me and Marmo and Asante and Sunda and Luca. And I mean, there were a lot of people. Randy Singer, believe it or not. Um, Everybody, we don't talk to each other all the time. Any of us really. I haven't talked to Marmo in years, but it shows you how camaraderie in this business, in the stand-up business, we are comrades. We do talk. And it was a very bonding moment for all of us because we were all very sad. None of us had an answer. None of us knew exactly what was going on. It was all hearsay. I hear he's not. I hear he did. And then one person's like, no, 100% confirmed. I mean, are you fucking serious? And we're all sitting there like in awe. And like, what the hell's going on? And it brought a lot of people together that night, and a lot of people were really worried about you. And we were so happy when we found out. We saw, I think it was somebody had posted a picture of in the hospital with you, and you were in the bed, and we knew that at that point that you must have been okay at that point.
It's really amazing, Mike, because as cutthroat as our business is,
and it is,
one of our fellow comedians falls, everybody comes together and can't believe it.
Correct.
And this time it was me.
It really was you.
Yeah.
And you say it's a cutthroat business, and it really is. And it's a cutthroat in a bad way. Yes. And it's a cutthroat in a competitive way. To give you an example, people, cutthroat, you have, if I'm going to go on stage, let's say, for instance, Marino's on stage. Let's say I'm on stage, and I know Marino's coming on next. Now, I would consider Marino one of my best friends. If I'm on stage and I know Marino's coming on next, I'm not letting up because I know Marino's coming on next. I'm going to fucking blast the room. I might even do it more to kill because I want him to fucking follow that. That's like our little thing. And you're going to do the same thing if you're bringing me up. We like that. We like the show. We want to blow the fucking room apart and say, go ahead, motherfucker, do that now. It's one of our inside things. We love that. We thrive on that.
And that's called being secure with yourself.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean that if anybody said shit to you in the parking lot, I wouldn't be the first to fucking throw his head up against the fucking wall, I mean, that's, we have each other's back in the business. And plus you're a friend. But yeah, I mean, friend, it doesn't matter, friend or no friend. If I'm going on stage before you I'm going to kill, and you're going to kill and do the same thing. Friends has nothing to do with it. And I think that's where the people don't realize, but is in the business itself is a cutthroat business. There are comedians that we both helped that never returns phone calls, that never cared, that tried to throw us under the bus, that tried to take gigs away from us, that robbed our material, that talk shit about us to club owners. I mean, you have those people, which will remain nameless. I'm going to remain nameless because I got you on the show, and I know you don't like talking about it. But one day when I'm doing it alone, I'll mention people. My dog's in the background over there. He's fucking
sick him.
Yeah, he's in the back. I have a German Shepherd. He's ready to come through the fucking door.
You got a big dog, man. He's probably even bigger now.
He is. He's a big boy.
It's strange, but when I think about how many shows we had done together and all the places we had gone and the camaraderie, because it takes you from stand-up to acting. And like when I put together Reconstructing Jersey, I couldn't wait to call you and say, get on the plane. We're shooting. Let's go.
And we were all there together having fun. And that's when we have fun.
When people would say to me, hey, what a great script. You're a genius. I'm like, no, I actually didn't write it. Wheels wrote that part. And I asked him if he would lend that part to the actual pilot. So when people were saying to me that routine that Wheels and Ronnie Marmo did about dating, he goes, that was genius. I'm like, Wheels wrote it. He actually lent the piece to the script.
I did the piece. Yeah. But then again, it had to be in the right setting. So you created the setting. You created the platform for me to do that art form. It has to work, meaning everything in that scene had to work for that to work. So, that came from you creating that and creating, putting the right people together. I don't know if I would have been able to do that with some Medigan guy I didn't know, I wouldn't, if I was talking to Ronnie like he was like neighborhood guy. So, it worked, so you put those people together,
Well, let's keep on hoping because now that I got my new special out, the actual executive producer, Dan Catullo, 7-time Emmy Award-winning producer.
Nice.
He likes the idea, and maybe we can go back into production and shoot from scratch because it's a great concept.
It is a great concept, and we'd have to alter some things. I would assume we don't look like that anymore. A lot of us. I mean, we're not that far away from looking like that, but we just, that was a different thing.
You look the same. I look different.
No, you lost weight, but you look healthy though.
I'm all right.
You're looking healthy. So good. Dan Catullo is the producer of the show. Now, was he the one you were telling me about that you guys went to school, same school, different times? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Isn't that great?
We were both inducted to the Scotch Plains Fanwood High School Hall of Fame. Man. And at the gala night when we went to go get our awards, I met him. I think he's 10 years younger than me. He graduated 91. I graduated in 81. And we started bullshitting, and he told me about all his Emmys and what he produces and what he directs. And then he told me one of his last comedy specials was Sebastian Maniscalco at Madison Square Garden. So I
He
just
did
looked at
that?
him and he said he did, yeah.
Wow.
So I said to him, let's put mine together.
That was great.
But I didn't know we were going to go to the high school. I thought we were going to go to a big theater and do something different. But doing it at the high school is pretty cool.
What
It's
was
really
that
cool.
like,
And the
being able to
marching band's
be
the opening act.
any
Huh?
of any of your old teachers there? I mean, are they still around?
Yes. No, they are around.
Oh, wow.
And my high school band teacher for Dan and myself, Mr. Tortoriello, he was there.
Wow.
My original teacher, Marvin Pyland, he didn't make it, but it was just an unbelievable comeback to see all those people that I knew from back then. A couple of celebrities came to watch the show. And when you watch the credits at the end of the actual video on Amazon Prime, you listen to music that was actually recorded in 1978 by the marching band.
Oh, so you were in that band? No, 78. Were you
Not
in that
78. I
No.
wasn't even in school yet, but
No.
in the high school yet. But it's
Yeah.
really great to hear that.
That's amazing. I wonder if they have any of the stuff that you were in the band in their archives.
They do, but you're thinking of 1980. Let's see, 79, 80, 81. I was
81,
in high
80.
school. Who was videotaping then?
Yeah,
There was no
true.
social
Yeah.
media.
No, they weren't recording the nights and all that, and it was a different world. I mean, I think talking about social media, don't you feel social media helps us as performers get out there more? I mean, it's amazing. We were able to do it years ago without it and still be successful. Now that we got it, it's even better. But the new generation and the new comedians have no idea how easy they got it with social media. We didn't have any of that. We just had to be funny and fucking go up on stage every night and create.
We performed in coffee houses, pizza joints, delis.
Didn't matter. Yeah,
Anything
laundromats.
on the street. You didn't. And it is a wonder. Would it have been better for us if we had social media?
I don't know.
Would we be as happy? We were so happy, though. I was so happy. If I
Would
got
we
paid
be?
$5 sandwich,
What if you had an hour set or 2 hour set that you would be able to do? People on
Maybe
social
not.
media, the TikTok people. Well, they got 6 minutes. They're performing at comedy clubs. They're selling the room out, but they can't perform over 7-8 minutes, and they fucking die. And then guys like us have to go on and pick up the slack.
yeah.
I won't do it. You got to get your act together, man. Comedy is about working out, doing it, and committing to the art. And there's no other way around it, and that's what bothers me about the new generation. But the social media, they can do it. I mean, who's to say? They're putting asses in seats,
Well, one good thing is you have this platform now, which we didn't have back then.
No, we didn't.
And we never even heard the word podcast. You didn't have a cell phone. You were lucky you knew how to fax somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Beep me. That was that was most technology driven. Beep me later when you get a chance. That's it. We get the beep.
You had to
Yeah.
go to a payphone to call the person.
I
I remember your bit about the beeper. Hey, who's beeping me now?
Motherfucker. Which we thought was so important. But it's interesting because, I think that the new generation has, I don't know, it's kind of watered comedy down a little bit, but I respect what they're doing. They're doing it their way, and we did it our way, and we can't expect everybody to do it our way. But you've really taken off in the Italian American community. I mean, they embraced you because you always you always were like, would always play the Irish cop, like you said. But more Italian Americans, you have more Italian American fans than you have anybody, really. I would say you're like really you get involved in that world. I've seen you on other podcasts,
Well, I got involved in that world because it was there for me and I enjoyed it. My parents were always involved in Italian American charities and fundraisers, and I enjoyed it. And that became what I had to embrace, the Irish cop in all the mob movies, because I didn't have a wise guy look.
Right. But meanwhile, you got more of a following of the Italian Americans than most Italian American comics that actually look it more than you do. And it's funny because your mother, I remember your mom, and of course I remember your dad. And every year I know you play the video of your mom downstairs,
Down the
talking
basement.
in the basement. And I get a kick out of seeing that once a year when you play it. and you're very lucky that you were able to get that on video. Most parents, you got a really nice piece there, and you lost your mom, and then you lost your dad recently, and your dad was such a great guy.
Yeah.
And you look a lot like your dad.
Yeah. More
Yeah.
now than ever.
And so there was another thing in your life by losing your mom, losing your dad. I've been there. But I lost my dad early in life, and I lost my mom when I was already in comedy. That had to be a big deal for you. I mean, how'd that affect you?
Well, as you might remember, I lost my mom when you and I were going to Canada.
Right. God, I remember.
I remember we had a conversation in the limo on the way to the show, and you said, Mike, your mom is now in heaven and everything is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And, I was really doing all I could at that moment to hold it together because we were doing a show with Ralph Boutini.
Yeah,
Boutino?
Ralph Boutini, I think.
Italian
Boutino.
Bad Boys.
Yeah. Is he still around, by the way? I mean, how's he doing?
I haven't seen or spoken to him in a long time. However, I recently was in Canada, and some of his friends were at my show, and we all just said to say hi to each other.
And that was amazing.
A lot of
Canada.
singers.
Yeah, in Canada, you found family lost like you haven't seen you have like a whole new family out there in Canada.
Well, the family in Canada is the closest bloodline to my authentic family line. My mother's real
Right.
last name was Berardo, and they are her cousins.
But were you you weren't close to them growing up as a kid, right?
No, because they lived in Toronto.
Yeah. So now you're able to have new relationships. Well, they're not new anymore. It's been years, but later on in life, and you can see the photos. Everybody's so happy when you're there. It's like a big deal,
We're all really, really close. And this last trip that I did in Toronto, I got to see my mom's oldest brother's son. He's 96 years old. He doesn't speak English.
Wow.
And he's there with his wife. She's 93. She doesn't speak English. So we were communicating old school. And my cousin does speak Italian. So he was telling me what they were saying, but they knew who I was. They know where I'm from.
Must be very proud of you.
It's unbelievable. It's just really unbelievable to see these family members. So when people say to me, are you really from Italy? And you're like, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
And then, the question, do you call it sauce or gravy? And you say gravy because you're from New Jersey.
Sure.
Here's a guy who doesn't speak English at all, and he said gravy.
He said gravy. Yep. Because they invented gravy. It's not even said in Italy. They invented it here in America. But in Canada, they called it gravy. They were trying to be American. So sugo is gravy. They were trying to call it that,
Yeah.
It's amazing, the Italian American. I'm very proud to be Italian American. I love it.
I am.
Where do you perform out there? But are you performing? You doing your? Because here's another thing with you. You just do shows like at theaters. You've been doing the theater circuit for such many years now. I mean, I'll see you play at comedy clubs, but nowhere near the amount of theaters you play. I mean, it's uncrazy. It's crazy how you just do these theaters. There's got to be a secret to that success, secret to that recipe. I mean, there has to be.
Well, constant persistence, doing everything you can to have a fan base, learning everything about social media, keeping up with the YouTube thing, as many TV appearances as you can scrape up. And then I think really what it is, you got to put on a good show, because if the people pay money to see you perform live and you're coming back in 6 months to a year, you better bring it.
I'm going to play something from you here. I'm going to try and attempt to play something from Mike Marino here, and then we want to talk about this is you on the Byron Allen show. Let me get over here so I can, I'm producing the show, so it takes a minute. But I'm going to go over here and I'm going to share this screen. Let's see if it works. Boom. Okay.
So, Mike, who do you think should run the country? I think we should have an Italian president from New Jersey running the country from now on. Named Mike Marino. Let me think about it. We had an Italian president running the country right now. This war in Afghanistan be over. You wouldn't know how, but it'd be over. And then they'd ask the president, how'd you end the war, Mr. President? He'd be like, Don't worry about it.
The crowd goes crazy. Look at them.
You just go enjoy the gas prices at 32 cents a gallon now, okay?
That's all taken care of.
Think about it. When Bin Laden first made us mad, what did our president do? He sent over the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps. Everybody went to find one guy. An Italian president? No. 2 Italians from Jersey be back in 24 hours.
He had to get up. Look at that. All aggravated.
They had to walk right into his cave like it was a hit. Osama? How you doing? Pull up a rock. I want to talk to you about something.
Pull up a rock.
I'm already upset with you. I had to get up early. You know how far you live from New Jersey? I tell you what, sit still. Here's what we're going to do for you, Ben.
Ben.
Hey, Vinny. Hit him with the bat. Is he dead? Good. War's over. Steal the rugs. Let's get out of here.
That was great. See, that right there, Mike, is classic Marino. And you don't look very much different than that, to be honest with you. I bet you can still get in that shirt.
I hope not. That's a long time ago. Huh?
So there you are on stage at the Byron Allen show. Back then, I mean, those were the outlets you had. It had to be about over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But that video got like millions and millions and millions of views.
It did, yeah.
How did that work out?
That's what helped you sell out the theaters.
And that video is still very relevant today. I mean, gas prices are still in the news. People are still talking about the Middle East. You know?
Yeah, who knew? The bit did really good. It did go viral, hit the millions, and I ended up doing a bunch of theaters throughout the United States and Canada.
Now, when I just clicked on that bit, did you get paid for that?
No.
That's what I was going to ask. Anyone? Is that something you don't want to talk about? Does that aggravate you a little bit? That made, because I'm sure that video probably made a lot, nice amount of money. But then again, you needed the stage, you needed that bit to make what you made, and you needed it. So there's that give and take.
I did the performance on the Byron Allen show, Comics Unleashed.
Yeah.
You get paid to do the performance, but you do not get residuals from YouTube. I put it on my YouTube channel, but someone actually stole it, put it on another YouTube channel, and I believe that guy did make money off me.
Amazing. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's your bit, your thing. It's you own it. And they can't do anything about that. That's one thing they can't take away from you is that's you. So that's the only thing. I remember back in the day, Rascals Comedy Hour used to do Rascals Comedy Hour, and I was on 2 episodes of that, and they paid us not a lot of money, but they gave us a stage time, and it was like a bargaining chip. It's like, listen, you're not going to make any money from this. We're going to do whatever we want to do with this. We own you basically for forever, and you're not going to get paid a penny. But we're going to give you a show. You're going to be able to say you have a TV credit. So it's like the give and take. You gotta make that decision. You made the decision. I made the decision. Other people make the decision. That's the business. Que sera, sera.
We all do TV appearances. You hope that something gigantic is going to happen. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Most time it doesn't. But you got to keep on going because that's the business we chose.
That's right. You sound like you're out of the movie The Godfather. That's the business that we have chosen. You can't tell me when we were watching that bit right now. You've done it a million times. You can't tell me that you were not. You can't tell me you weren't saying it in your head as you were doing the bit. When I was sharing that, you had to be in your head reciting it. Yeah, I do the same thing. I want to see if my timing is still there. It's like I'm testing my timing. Like, is it still the same? And most of the time, we nail it. So. You got the Italian, Make America Italian Again. You've been doing that campaign for a while. You ran for president a few times. You got the merchandise. The hat. Does anybody come over to you and say you shouldn't be wearing that hat and then realize it's not the hat that says it? It looks like the hat. Do people get offended by the hat?
One thing that's really great about what we do is when I came up with the phrase, which was a replica of what the president was saying, make America great again, I said, make America Italian again. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. I wrote it on a couple of shirts. We sold a couple of shirts. It made some people laugh. But then I realized maybe I should put that into copyright. And I
Yeah,
did. And I registered it.
good.
So when the hardcore Italians in Chicago said, we'd like to sell shirts that say, Make America Italian Again, I said, well, you actually can't. I own it.
Right.
And so when they do sell it now, I get a residual.
So
So
you
I
get the
actually
residual.
did the right thing. They did the right thing, and we all made some money.
That's how you do the good business. That's a good business move. And I know,
Yeah.
I remember I saw it on a website and I called you right away. Mike, somebody's selling your shirt. And then you got all upset, aggravated, and then you realized it was that, and then it made sense. And then, but I really do like what you do is the morning walk. I got to say, that's a really, and I know you have the podcast live from my mother's basement. Great show. It's been how many years now? It's about 5 or 6 years you've been doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. We had 350 episodes.
Yeah, but I really like the morning walk. I really would love for you to do something with that. Remember when Jerry Seinfeld had having coffee in cars with comedians? The show.
Yeah.
I think the morning walk should be something like that. You actually meet the guests somewhere and walk wherever they're going to walk. Sometimes they come to your house and you walk the neighborhood, which I've seen you do with Jerry Pastore and a few other people. But then you start going. Let's say, for instance, whoever says I want to be on the show, and you say okay, and he's a big guest. Let's say whoever, Howard Stern. You go to Stern's house and you do the morning walk with him in his neighborhood. It's like the morning walk with Mike Marino, and you walk with celebrities, and you walk with other people, and you walk with whoever you're going to walk with in other people's neighborhoods, and talk about their life and their neighborhood. Because your neighborhood, I think it's a great idea. You should do that. Number one. Number two, your neighborhood is the neighborhood you kind of grew up in, and is such a typical all Americana neighborhood, meaning it really stayed close to the father knows best type neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, everybody really, you still, you walk, you say hello to your neighbor, hey, Sally, whatever, you got the neighborhood butcher, you walk. It really stayed close to that. Is it turning at all, or is it really still the same?
I hope with all my heart that this town that I'm in right now, I'm in the house I grew up in, Scotch Plains, New Jersey, where we filmed the show,
Yeah.
that it never changes. Mike, everybody here is so friendly. There's no crime. There's no racism. Everybody's in a good mood.
Yeah.
The same butchers up the block, the same
Amazing.
shoemakers up the block. Everybody knows everybody by their first name. And even if they didn't, they're going to say hello to you. So whenever I do the morning walk, I mean, just the other day, I'm walking down the block. Some guy opened up his front door and he goes, hey, you want coffee?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's like you should take an Entenmann's cake with you, so just in case. You're walking with the Entenmann's. Whose house am I going to that?
Well, it's coffee.
But it's true. You got such a. I'm jealous of your neighborhood. I love it. It's like it never grew up. Everybody decided, you know what? Fuck this. We're just going to stay here. Don't tell anybody. Just leave us alone. And that's how it stayed.
Yeah.
And that's where
We live in a
your mom
bubble,
was and your dad.
hopefully it doesn't change. This is like Mayberry.
I remember talking to you when you lost your mom, and I said, it's interesting. When I lost my mom, and I lost my dad at an early age, but when I lost my mom, I realized at that moment, I feared nothing anymore. The fear went away of everything, because the only thing I ever really feared was getting the phone call. Your mother had passed, I was going to get that call. I feared that.
Yeah.
Because I was so close to my mom. So I realized nothing mattered anymore when I got that call that my mom gone. I said, I don't care. Now I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. And you can't tell me what I can do. Until I met my wife and I had my daughter. And I think that really has a lot to do with you. It's like, I didn't give a shit about anything. And then I got married and I'm like, now I have something I care about again. I have something to love again. And you're very fortunate. You met a very good girl in your life.
Yeah.
Without getting too personal. She was there for you every step of the way with the episode you had.
It's unbelievable.
We're adults. We're our 60s now. We've been in relationships before, but for some reason this just happens. See, isn't it amazing when you find the right one, how your life just changes and all of a sudden you become almost like normal again? Because comedy, we're not normal. We're not.
It's interesting you say that, because now everybody's telling me I'm performing differently.
I see it. I saw you when you were in Canada, even in the photos. You looked different. You carried yourself different. I didn't see the performance, but just the way you're acting, you're smiling different. You're doing things differently. And I think, it's not all about you anymore, or it wasn't all about me anymore. Now we have somebody else, and we love being normal. We love watching a movie at night, not having to talk about ourselves. We love just being us, and it feels nice to have that comfort to be with somebody you love and say, "Man, I can just really be myself, and this is great." And you find yourself, I think, a little bit too. Do you feel that happen to you?
Yeah, because, and I'm glad you said that because I can't describe it. I can't even explain it. First of all, I have a near death experience. I thought it was really over for me and I was done. And then I fall madly in love with somebody. And I've never been married. I have no children. And here
Right.
I am falling all over myself with this woman, Heather, who you've met when we
Yes.
were
Yeah.
in Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
And you're the one who
Wonderful.
said you're going to
Wonderful.
marry that girl.
I told you. I said 100%. I could tell how you were there then.
Yeah.
I just knew it. I said, "This is the one for you."
Well, when we went to Canada, we drove up and she said to me, I think you should wear a suit. I like the way your hair is. You shouldn't dye it no more. Just keep it gray. Let your mustache and beard grow. We'll call you the Silver Fox.
I
And
love
I
it.
says, okay, if that's what you want, I'll do it. And she goes, Mike, you're hot. You're hot. You're really looking good. You're hot. Now that's coming from your significant other. And you know
Yeah,
what it's like. Some women don't want you to be successful. They'd rather you
absolutely.
have a picture with a stranger. But my fiance Heather is like, I'll take pictures with you, and all these girls, they want to take pictures with you. And I'm like, well, thank you, because she's secure with herself. I'm secure with
Exactly.
myself, and we
Exactly.
we know we're not going anywhere. And my family absolutely loved her.
Good.
So here we are. So the performance does come a little bit more like, let's say I'm not New Jersey's bad boy anymore. I'm just
Right.
Mike Marino.
You're Mike Marino, comedian Mike Marino. You go on stage and you're just different because you're so at ease with where you are in your life, and you went through so many crazy things recently, and of course losing people you love, and then she comes into your life, and it's like somebody's working something up there. Somebody's throwing things in our lap. You know,
How did this
unexplained.
happen? There's got to be
There's
a
always something bigger
bigger
picture, I think.
power.
Yeah, and I think it definitely is different. So you can go on stage and have a killer night and do all your jokes, and then at the end of the night, you leave two of you together, and you go back home or back to the hotel, and you're like, "I'm fucking done now. Until the next show doesn't matter anymore. I can care less. It's over. I got paid. I feel
Yeah,
good." And you could be
yeah.
yourself. Let's put on Netflix, watch something. Who cares? You got popcorn. What are you doing? And it's like one of those things, you're hanging out on the couch, watching TV, snacking, and you're having a good time. You're enjoying your life. And that's really the successful part of what we do. That's really the success when you can have that person in your life. That's how I feel with my wife and daughter. I mean, when I met my
I'm
wife,
happy with this. If I could just be a performer till the day I can't perform anymore, that's all I really need. I don't need fame. I don't need millions. I just want to be happy and healthy, and I
enjoy.
want to be with my girl.
And she's with you on a lot of your performances. Thank God
Yes.
she was with you in Honduras. You say
Well, she came to get me in
came.
Florida.
Okay,
How
yeah, but
she
still,
found me in
how she
Honduras on the
got
phone,
there.
I have no idea.
It's amazing how they can just get there and do it when they have to get there and do it. So that says a
She
lot. And
figured it out. She's out of control, very smart. I mean,
you're very
the
lucky,
rest
Mike.
of my family would have just said, okay, well, let us know what happens.
Yeah, let's get how it goes. But no,
Heather came flying.
yeah, and that's and good for her. I appreciate that. You got a lot going on. So tell me what's going on in your world now. So you got the morning walk of Mike Marino. They can find you on Instagram. You got the podcast. When are you doing the relaunch on that? Because I haven't seen any episodes recently with the podcast.
Well, I haven't figured out how to do something new like you have. This is really, really great. And I'd like to do this.
Yeah,
My
I'll show
bar
you.
is set up downstairs, and I'll figure out how to do it. So I'm hoping I'll have live from my mother's basement up and running with new episodes.
Sure,
I actually want my first episode to be an interview with Heather.
you should be. It
I
should
would
be.
love for the world to see the answers that she would give to questions of what's it like to be involved with a comedian.
Yeah, what's it like to be involved with not just any comedian, somebody who's actually a true comedian, who's working, who's actually earning a living from comedy. When was the last day job you had, Mike? An actual job? Do you even remember? I don't even know if you ever had. Did you ever? I don't remember you ever working. The only thing I remember you ever doing was like traffic school you would teach. But did you ever have a real fucking job?
Of course, I was working in construction for years. I waited
Okay, that's
tables
true.
for a long time. Comedy traffic school, selling bubble gum.
Oh, the vending machines. Remember the vending? Don't tell me you still even have one of those. There's no way you have one of those anymore.
No, but wasn't it funny? We made like a couple of dollars and we thought we were rich.
Yeah, oh my God. Well, we thought we were in the mob. You kidding me? We're in the vending business. Don't fuck with us. We vend. All right.
It's funny when people tell me about, crime and criminals, and I think about all the shit that we did. We were half criminals ourselves.
Oh my God. I think about it all the time. I'm like, I don't know how the hell did I do that?
Yup.
So you're out of LA now. You're not really there anymore, huh?
Nah, I threw in the towel. I had enough. And then I really miss it. I miss the days when you and I used to roll out. I miss the days when I was doing a lot of stuff at the Laugh Factory.
Sure.
It just lost its luster, I guess, around the pandemic, kind of ruined everything for a lot of people. And then a couple of years ago, I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to be with Heather. Might as well throw in the towel and get rid of my place and move to New Jersey.
Yeah, and there you go. So if you do go back to LA, you still have, obviously, if you want to perform. I don't find, I would go out there. When I go out there, I don't want to perform, but you probably want to perform when you go out there. I just don't. I don't feel it in me to go there.
I don't even know why I would go. If I wasn't going out there to do a job or to perform or to go see some friends that I'm very, very close to, well, I have no real reason.
There's no real reason, yeah. And I feel the same way. If I do go out there, it would be because, we're from there. Like my wife and I met my wife there. My daughter was born there. We would go back just to see memory stuff and like spend a week maybe and go to eat some restaurants. But I wouldn't even call the Comedy Store, nothing like that. Done with that. But it is what it is. Well, Mike, this was a great show. Did you enjoy doing the How Not to Bomb podcast?
Oh man, you're the best, man. I miss you like you have no idea.
I miss you too. We got it, but this is good though. See, we can get together like this once in a while. I can actually have up to 10 people in the room, and we can bring all our friends in here and just fucking, who cares who's watching? Just talk.
I'd love to do that, man.
And air it live. But yeah, when you get a chance, I'll show you whenever you want. Let me know what you need from me to help you get this going. It's very easy. It's only a matter of getting one of these and getting a little camera. Trust me, it's not a big deal. And but I love that you were on the show today. Is there anything you want to get out there? MikeMarinoLive.com, correct? Or .net.
My website is MikeMarino.net.
MikeMarino.net.
All my social media is Mike Marino Live. And my new special, Back to School, is on Amazon Prime as of yesterday.
Don't forget to follow Mike Marino and get his merchandise. Go to his website, MikeMarino.net, correct? You can buy the jacket. I know he sells everything. He's got jackets. He's got slippers. I don't know what he's got. I haven't been on there. You sell anything you can put. It's amazing. You're like a marketing genius with that shit. I have to give you that. T-shirts, fucking, I don't know, Frisbees. He's got it all. Just go on there and see what he's got. Wine openers. I don't know. He's got everything. And don't forget to follow him on Instagram, Facebook. And thanks for watching the show, How Not to Bomb. Mike, thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it. And let me know when we're going to get together and fucking chill a little bit once in a while now. And I can't wait to meet your girl again. I'm glad. When are you getting married, by the way? Any dates?
Well, we don't know just yet because we went through some crazy stuff. So hopefully when I'm 100% healthy and ready to rock, we're going to make it happen.
All right, everybody. Next time on How Not to Bomb. Thanks, Marino. I'll talk to you soon.
Good night.
Love you.
Love you too.